All right. Shalom, Israel. Welcome to the Hebrew Chosen Elect Wednesday night class. Uh, I want to start by giving all praise, glory, honor, Yahweh Bashem Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai, Mashiach being the true name in the Hebrew of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ. Tonight's class will be going into an in-depth breakdown of an in-depth breakdown of showing Israel as Gentiles, and that going into Israel being the Gentiles in the New Testament when it comes to the promises, the covenants being brought back to God, who Christ came for, who Paul was sent out to, who the apostles were reaching out to bring back to God and being a holy people again. When that is the context, it's always speaking of Israel, right? So, so we're going to go in. That's why it's in depth. We're going to be going into the Old Testament and New, just breaking down and proving Israel becoming Gentiles, especially when following the ways of the heathen nations. So Gentiles, heathens, strangers, etc. When we go off as a people and are separated from the Most High or in captivity or of our own will, leaving Israel or leaving the worship of Yahweh, and even some punishments of breaking the laws, you become a Gentile, you become a stranger to the covenant, and you become a heathen when you are worshiping other gods, serving other gods. So this will be part one. I don't know how many. I don't know how many parts it will be, but it'll definitely be more than one part to this series. We'll also be breaking down Cornelius, Isaiah, a couple Isaiah chapters that they like to go to, just to kind of put birth heathens, birth Gentiles into the mix of being equal with Israel. We're going to break all those down. So, like I said, it'll definitely be more than a one-part series. So, to start it off, we're going to go to the book of Leviticus. Open up to the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 26 to 30 will be our first precept. Are you able to read to you? So you have to roll. So whenever you're ready, bring that out. Leviticus 18, 26 to 30.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 26. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation.
Mm-hmm. So going into, this part reiterating how we're to keep the statutes, commandments, and not committing abominations of what? It went through, there's many, one of them being, they have it. One of them being worshiping of other gods, and many others. We're not to commit those, neither any of our own nation. Also, go ahead.
Nor any stranger that sojourneth among you.
So even the strangers, when they sojourned among us, it wasn't you can do your own thing. You got your own gods, you got your own worship, and you just you hear and you paying your dues or what? No. With Israel, the laws of God was in effect whether you was of our nation or sojourning amongst us. Right? Go ahead.
For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled.
Go ahead.
That the land spew not you out also when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you.
Go ahead.
For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people.
So that part right there. So the punishment for this particular offense and others as well, some of the punishments, wasn't death. Some of the punishments was that you be cut off from among your people, be cut off from being an Israelite. That was a penalty for some transgressions, this being one of them. Meaning what? What happens if you're cut off from among your people? You're a heathen. You are of the other nations. What else could it mean? It's not death. You are an Israelite, right? You a Hebrew, you a Jew, or you a Ephraimite, or any of the 12 tribes, but you're cut off from among your people. That would make you a Gentile. So even in the law, all the way back to coming out of Egypt, going into the land, individuals could become Gentiles by transgressing certain laws and being cut off from the people. You would become just a nation. You would no longer be, Israel is the holy, peculiar people. You would no longer be a part of that. Now, you would still be that in blood, but you wouldn't be looked upon as such by the Most High. You would just be a nation. You would be a heathen, like brother said, a Gentile. Go ahead.
Verse 30. So obey my instructions and do not defile yourselves by committing any of these detestable practices that were committed by the people who lived in the land before you. I am the Most High, your God.
Right.
Yahweh.
So, and it ties into, you would be cast off by keeping what? The customs of the nations that was cast out from the land before. Just so you would be cast out. You would get the same punishment of those that were committing these abominations in the land, which is banishment out of the land. And being out of the land of Israel will make you a Gentile. And the next precept is going to show that even further. And then we're going to get the definition. I meant to start off with that. But 1 Samuel 26-19, showing that even being cast out of the land without a transgression, you would become a Gentile, right? That's why we're going here. The punishment for those, the penalty for those transgressions we just read would be you would be cut off from among your people. That makes you not Israelite, like no more. Still by blood, but in spirit, right? Because you, like the other nations, even without transgressing the laws of God, being put out of the land, right? You would be a Gentile.
I got a precept. If you ain't got it, you got Ezra 7:26. Or you want to bring out?
I don't think we got it, but you want to bring that out before this or after?
It's all in with the banishment. It's just a precept with that in like judgment for certain things.
All right, let's go to that. If it's still on judgment,
definitely
punishment. Let's get that first, and then go to my precept to show, even without a transgression. Where are we at? You
Ezra
said
7:26. Because this is judgment for not certain levels of judgment, types of judgment for not obeying the laws of the Most High. Right.
All right. You can go ahead when you're ready.
This is the book of Ezra, chapter 7, verse 26. And whosoever will not do the law of Yahweh, thy power, and the law of the king, let judgment be executed speedily upon him, whether it be unto death, or to banishment, or to confiscation of goods, or to imprisonment.
Right. Y'all know what that banishment means? Well, what we've been going into. It's a word for what we've been describing, castaway, or like say, Yeah, cut off. Say we told you, listen, you did this, that, and the third. You can't come to class. You can't come around the camp for 6 months. That's a banishment, right? So, like you was bringing out, whosoever would not do the law of our God, judgment would speedily be executed, which could be death or confiscation of goods or imprisonment or that banishment. I mean, if you're banished, you're not suffering those other punishments. You're what? You're a heathen now. You're a heathen. Um, let's get this Gentile before that precept I wanted. So I got the Noah Webster's, and if you could, can you look up the Zondervan definition of Gentile? But I like this.
I ain't got that.
I'm saying, can you like see if you can find on Google?
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah. But while you do that, I'm gonna read this definition here of Gentile I like it in the Noah Webster 1828 dictionary. The definition for Gentile is nation, race, right? That's the noun. Then it goes on to say, in the scriptures, a pagan, a worshiper of false gods. Then it goes on to say, any person not a Jew or a Christian, a heathen. But see, that's so even they knew back in when closer time to when the Bible was translated, they knew that it didn't necessarily have to do with a race of people at all the time. Any race could be a Gentile. And like I said, nation, then it's race. But in the scriptures, a pagan or a worshiper of false gods, and that's what we're going into. One of the punishments for following these abominations of the heathen of worshiping false gods, you would be cut off from among being of your people, which would make you a Gentile, just a regular nation, regular person that worships false gods. So you can be a Gentile just by being a pagan, a worshiper of false gods, an idolater. Y'all understand? That is a Gentile. Let me see if I want more. The Hebrews include the term goyim or nations, all the tribes of men who had not received the true faith and were not circumcised. So that goes on more. And that, so in New Testament speaks on that a lot too. The circumcision going to the uncircumcision, right? So if you wasn't circumcised in the flesh, you would also be called a Gentile. Was you able to find anything on that?
I was looking for it online, but
let me see if I can do a search right quick.
Google is telling me. I found something on Google. That's about it. It kind of gives a definition.
Let me see if I can find it.
From the Zondervan. It might work. Let me read it.
All right, what you got?
It says Zondervan, a Gentile generally refers to any person or nation that is not of Jewish blood.
Okay, yeah, I like that one. So let me pull it up and I want you to read that again. Definition of Gentile I'm looking for.
And it says this is from the Zondervan.
Okay. All praises. So all right, read it. Go ahead.
A Gentile generally refers.
So generally, meaning not all the time. And this is the Zondervan. I like that 1828 because it's even closer to the time, like I said, that the Bible was translated to English. But this one doesn't even say all the time, generally, meaning not all the time. So generally refers to any person, go ahead.
To any person or nation that is not of Jewish blood, lineage, or faith.
So Jewish blood, lineage, or faith. And that's not all the time. So they even Zondervan, he understood that. Noah Webster, he understood that. Christianity today mainly puts that title on what? Not of Israelite blood. Oh, it says Gentile, it's a non-Israelite. That was never the case. The scriptures don't really back that up. We're going to show that. And even the understanding from the scholars, they understood that Gentile wasn't a title that was only for non-Israelite blood nations. Right. So that's it on that, right?
It said it translates the Hebrew word goyim, meaning nations or the peoples of the world.
Right, and that's another thing. Its main definition isn't even race, it's nations. And there's even, we're going to go into goyim in another segment. There's multiple scriptures that speaks of Israelites, and the Hebrew word is goyim. So let's go back now to
First Samuel.
First Samuel. So we did the it's a punishment of certain offenses of the law and following the ways of the heathen, that you would be banished, making you now a heathen, a Gentile. David also is going to show here that not being in the land, you would be a Gentile. So First Samuel 26:19.
And it reads, "But now let my lord the king listen to his servant. If the Most High has stirred you
Hold
up."
on. What are you in the KJV?
Oh, you said Second Samuel.
First Samuel.
Oh, First Samuel.
But it seems like you're just in it. Yeah, that's why it sounds a little different.
All right, Salaki. Let me start that from the top. Now, therefore, I pray thee, let my lord the king hear the words of his servant.
Mm-hmm.
If the Most High have stirred thee up against me, let him accept an offer.
So this is David pleading to Saul, just to give context. Saul was looking to kill David, and David's pleading to him that if it's Yahweh that stirred Saul up to come against David, to let him accept the offer. Go ahead.
But if they be the children of men, cursed be they before Yahweh.
So if it's children of men, if it's other Israelites, or could be other nations, other men that's got Saul confused and coming against David, let them be cursed. Go ahead.
For they have driven me out this day from abiding in the inheritance of the Most High.
So this is saying Saul's chasing David. David had to hide and leave Israel, the inheritance being Israel. He had to leave it to go and hide him from Saul, because Saul was trying to kill him. All right. So he's saying the men that convinced Saul to go after David have caused him to drive David from abiding in the inheritance, the land of Israel. Go ahead. And this is going to give definition to, go ahead.
Go serve other gods.
So by doing that, by him chasing David from the land, just by doing that, and David having to leave the inheritance, he said that meant you were serving other gods. And David's not speaking in regards to now, because he's out of Israel, he's going to start worshiping other gods. He's going to stop praying to the Most High, being obedient to the laws of God. He's saying when you're outside of Israel, you are now in what's the word? By technicality, serving other gods. Because why? Now you're serving other kings, and they're serving other gods over them. Because you're no longer in the land where, for one, is laws that Israel, we only serve a king that's of our stock, being Israel, right? But if you're outside of Israel, now you have to serve whatever king is in that land. And they got whatever god over the land. And even though you're not keeping their customs, just you being in their land, you're by technicality serving their gods. And gods also means judges. So that's why he's not speaking in regards to, he's actually serving like Baal, or serving statues and worshiping idols. but he's serving other powers, other judges, other kings, other gods. And when doing that, you are now what? A Gentile. You're now a Gentile. So we'll drop that. Y'all understand? Y'all following? All right, good. So a Gentile is somebody who what? Worships other gods, or is banished from Israel, or finds himself living abroad for whatever reason. He can't come back, or maybe sometimes people decide that they don't like it here. I'm gonna go live there. I'm gonna go live in the other country, right? Just like today, modern time, you got people who, okay, you got people who move from, let's say, Africa over here to America, and they want to become Americans, and they get their citizenship, and now they're Americans. But then you got people who just want to come over here, make a quick buck to send back to their family, right? And they get a visa, and they only here for a short time, then they back, and they never leave their customs. They're still of that African nation or whatever, right? Say it's Ghana. They're still Ghanaians. But the ones that move over here for good and uproot themselves from Ghana because they want the American dream, they're not really Ghanaians no more. Even in blood they are, but in spirit and in citizenship, now they're Americans. So that can be the same thing with Israel, right? People would leave it like you find with the family Ruth married into. They had left Israel because they was doing bad, so they moved to Moab because it was like drought or something in Israel, but they didn't move there for good. So when the Lord blessed the land again, that's when she went back. But her husband died already, but she went back. So while you're in other nations, you're a Gentile at times. So let's go now to the New Testament, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 13 to 22.
The book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 13. But now in Mashiach Yahushai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
For he is our peace, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
And what do they say? They already this verse is one of them. They'll go to and say, "See, those were far off. That's non-Israelites. Made both one, broken down the middle wall partition. That's because Israel wasn't supposed to deal with us Gentiles and the other nations. So now they're becoming one. Both of those are false, and you don't even find where. Well, we just read it. We just read strangers could sojourn in Israel, and then they were subject to the same laws. It was never a law that strangers couldn't come into Israel and you couldn't what's the word? Commune with them or break bread with them or bring them into your inheritance. This was speaking of Israel when it was split. There was a middle wall partition there.
You saying people use this to say Gentiles is grafted in, or this?
Yeah, this is one of them.
I don't know.
I'm talking about
this is about the covenant that we broke,
right?
And Christ being the go-between and the mender, that reconciling us.
Exactly, and
so
that's
what are they
that's
reading?
what we're showing.
We keep reading, and it's gonna say that.
But what they're doing is the Christian hustle game. Who was far off? Gentiles were far off.
So they honed in on that part.
Yeah. They always, they pinpoint stuff that sound good, but never actually break it down by, for one, Old Testament. You reading that, That's what explains this. The old explains the new. Let's go.
Verse 15. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law. Did I skip?
No, you read 14.
Okay. Even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace,
Mm-hmm.
and that he might reconcile both unto Yahweh in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby,
Mm-hmm.
and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were not. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father.
Mm-hmm. And this is all talking about Israelites. This is all talking about Israelites. Either Jews that went off and became heathen, or Northern Kingdom went off, became heathen. And especially Northern Kingdom in Southern Kingdom now becoming one again. It's all talking about, this verse is all talking about Israel. Israel, Israel, Israel. There's not even any non-Israelite Gentile being spoken of in this verse. Not any. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints.
And that's one where, see the saints. Y'all say the saints is Israelites. So it's got to be non-Israelites. No, because yes, the saints are Israelites, but what saints means is either saints comes from either Quadash, holy, or could I might be saying it wrong, but Kasadium, which means faithful ones, which is translated, that same word you read in the Maccabees when it says Assyrians. And the Old Testament is translated into saints. They just put Assyrians in the translators of the Apocrypha just put Assyrians because they transliterated the word instead of translating it. But that's what saints are, either holy or faithful, which is Israel. But if you wasn't holy and faithful because you're following the ways of the heathen, you're worshiping their gods, keeping their ways, and now you're a Gentile, you're a heathen, you're a stranger, Christ died that you can come back and be a fellow citizen with the saints, those that aren't keeping the customs of the heathen and aren't in a Gentile mentality and worship and culture. You understand? Go ahead.
And of the household of Yahweh, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Most High, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit.
So what the Christianity is going to teach is that now this is Gentiles, once again, and Israelites. Now they're coming together. Gentiles are now being allowed in, and now they're being builded together for a habitation of God through the Spirit. That's the way they're going to break down this verse we just read. But it's speaking about Israel the whole way through. Right? So first verse, let's go to 2 Chronicles 18:16.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 18, verse 16. Then he said, I did see all Israel scattered upon the mountains.
So Israel scattered upon the mountains. This is the prophet, I think it was Micah or one of them, and he's speaking to King Ahaz, and he's prophesying that he sees all Israel scattered upon the mountains. Mountains being what? The different nations. That's the mountains. And he's prophesying that he sees all Israel scattered to all these different nations, banished. Now, what are they? They're the nations. They're goyim. They're Gentiles. They're heathens. They're scattered upon the mountains. Right? Go ahead.
As sheep that have no shepherd.
Who's the shepherd? Christ. Or the Most High. Right? He sees them without a shepherd, banished from the Most High. You're no longer holy. You're no longer set apart. You're no longer faithful. You're just another nation, but you're still an Israelite by blood, but you're a Gentile, right? Go ahead.
These as sheep that have no shepherd, and the Most High said, these have no master. Let them return, therefore, every man to his house in peace.
Mm-hmm. So this was prophesied that the Israelites, they would be banished, scattered, and the Most High wouldn't be looking upon us no more. We would have no master. We'd have no master. So it's no more you're a peculiar people. No more, once again, you're holy, set apart. You're just another nation. Another regular old nobody living amongst the idolaters, keeping their ways, being an idolater. You're a Gentile. Still the seed of Jacob, but you're a Gentile. John 11:51. Y'all keeping up? Y'all keeping up? John 11. How do you become a Gentile? How does an Israelite become a Gentile?
Like him being like kicked out.
Kicked out. Or
Like cut out.
kicked out. Or
Cut out.
kicked out was right. No, kicked out was right. Put out was right. Or what's the other one? Worshiping other gods. And then one more. Or moving to the heathen lands, taking part, being a citizen of other nations, taking part of their culture. All those ways, pay attention. All those acts make you a Gentile, even though you're still the seed of Israel. But the Lord doesn't consider you that until you are what? Faithful, obedient, only worshiping him. See that? John 11:51-52.
And it reads, and this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation.
Mm-hmm. So this is the high priest, which one? I forget his name. Nicodemus, I think.
Okay.
But either way, he prophesied that Christ would die for that nation. So this is one that's showing, this is one that they'll go to too, to say came for everybody. So see that nation. This is a verse that actually shows that Israelites are the nation that he came to save. They might use it to show the opposite. There's non-Israelites. But because we went to that verse above, right? It was prophesied Israel would be scattered on the mountains. That's why you have to have the Old Testament. That explains this verse. I'll show you how they try to flip it. But this verse is speaking of directly about Israel, just by how it's written. And what it's saying. So he prophesied that Christ would die for that nation. It's actually talking about the Jews. the nation of the Jews. They might say the nation of Israel. That's where they'll get you at. They'll say, see, that nation is Israel. No, this nation is the Jews in this verse. Now keep going.
Verse 52. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Yahweh that were scattered abroad.
Mm-hmm. So they're going to say, see, it's children of God of other nations, other bloodlines as well. And God's going to bring them together as one, Israel and other nations. That's because they get away with that with, novices and unbelievers. That's not what it's saying at all. So we read already, Israel scattered upon the mountains, sheep having no shepherd. This is exactly the shepherds coming to bring them back, that nation of the Jews with the nation of the northern kingdom, who is referred to often as Israel or sometimes as Ephraim.
I got a precept too. I don't know what you're going to.
And so that's why it says the children of God scattered abroad. It's already established that who are the sons of God? Who are the sons of God? Israel. So when it says the children of God, they were scattered abroad, that's because it's making reference to what would happen to Israel. This is a conversation between two Jews. They understand. Precept.
Come to let me back what you're saying about becoming, going to these other nations, becoming 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. Did you have that?
I'm not sure, but if
line up.
I'm not sure, but if I do, just hit it again. Ain't no biggie.
It reads
12 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Wait till you get there. 1 Corinthians 12 and 2.
Yep, kind of go ahead.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles. So this is Paul saying ye were Gentiles, right? Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. So he's saying they was Gentiles because they was carried away to these dumb idols, idol worship, and became Gentiles.
Right.
Led away,
right,
from the Most High. That's how they became Gentiles.
But
he's talking to Israelites.
He's talking to
But
Israelites.
He's calling them Gentiles because of their idolatry. They're coming away from Kadashium or Kodesh or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Set apart, holy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's a good one. And, that matches that definition in the Noah Webster. They understood that. And they put in there, in scriptures of pagan, worshiper of false gods. So he's saying ye past tense were Gentiles because you were carried away unto dumb idols. And we read in the law that you follow the ways of the heathen, worshiping their idols, these abominations, you would be cut off from among your nation. Become a Gentile because you were carried away unto dumb idols. Micah 5, 1-8. This, I believe this one is just another one going into being scattered amongst the heathen, Gentiles.
And it reads, now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek.
And this is a prophesy of who? So this is important to take note of because just to rewind, the purpose of we're breaking in depth Israel being Gentiles is because we're showing that Israel in the New Testament, when it had its regards to Christ coming and who the apostles were sent to, when it's Gentiles, it's Israelites that were Gentiles. So this verse we're reading now is a prophecy of Christ. Y'all know what a prophecy is? It means predicting the future. Okay? So this was wrote before Jesus or Yahushua came. It says he's going to come. and says that they would smite the judge of Israel with the rod upon the cheek. What happened to Christ before he was put on the cross? Do y'all remember? Before he went on the cross, yeah. If you don't remember, I'll tell you. He was smited. He was, he was hit. He was hit on the cheek. He also had the crown of thorns put on him, but he was smited. Even
spit on.
Even when Pilate, when he said, "I don't find any transgressions worthy of death in him," and tried to give him back to the Jews, he said, "I scourged him though."
Mm-hmm.
So they had scourged him. They had hit him on the cheek. This is a prophesy that would happen. So it's dealing with Christ, but it's going to go into the topic of Israel being Gentiles. Go ahead. All right, can you finish this?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
Verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem, Ephratah, however you say that, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel.
You'll also notice it's never prophesied that he'd come for Moab, Ham, the Philistines, or Esau, or Ammon. It's always he's prophesied to come for Israel, right? Go ahead. And in this one in particular, he's being prophesied of coming, the ruler in Israel. Go ahead.
Whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth hath brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel.
So, speaking again, so when he's brought forth, then a remnant of his brethren, who are what? Israelites, will return unto the children of Israel. You see that is in that. This is the prophecy. Brethren would have to return to the children of Israel. So who would the brethren be that's returning?
The Israelites.
That were called
heathens.
Gentiles, heathens. Exactly. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And he shall stand and feed in the strength of Yahweh, in the majesty of the name of Yahweh the Most High, his God, and they shall abide. For now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. And this man shall be the peace when the Assyrian shall come into our land, and when he shall tread in our palaces. Then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men, and they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword.
That one also proves when he is prophesying Syria and Babylon and all that, it's not speaking about them specifically, because this is prophesying of the Romans being called the Assyrian. Go ahead.
And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod in the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian, when he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders.
Go ahead.
And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as dew from Yahweh, as the showers upon the grass.
What's one of the definitions of Gentile? Multitudes of people. Yeah, multitudes of people. Jacob would be in the midst of many people, different nations, scattered upon the mountains. Yeah, go ahead.
As the showers upon the grass that tarrieth, not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles.
So the remnant of Jacob shall be among who? The Gentiles.
Nations.
The nations, exactly. And it says like showers upon the grass. When showers come down on the grass, what section of grass doesn't get hit? There ain't one. It covers all the grass. Israel would be amongst all the nations, scattered amongst all the nations among the Gentiles. Go ahead.
And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles, in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep. Who is he who, if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver?
And that's a future to come as well. When that day comes, Ezekiel 25 goes into it. Obadiah goes into it. Once the Most High raises up Israel to overcome all the nations, it'll be like a lion that goes through a flock of sheep. Nobody can stop it. But before that, yeah, we're going to drop that. But before that, Israel will be scattered amongst the Gentiles, being Gentiles, whom the beginning of the prophecy says Christ came for. And those brethren would be returning to the children of Israel. Israel returning to Israel. The middle wall partition coming back together. Christ joining in one, the children of God. It's all about Israel. So y'all keeping up?
Yes.
Gentiles is who?
Gentiles is David.
Yes, but who else? Mainly in the they say it's usually other nations, but we're saying Israelites. Mainly, usually is speaking of Israel. Next verse we go to is Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 3. Jeremiah chapter 3. Verse 1 to 25. And I'll read. Y'all follow along. It reads, they say, pay attention now. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. So what this is going into is he's using a metaphor of when a woman goes off from her husband, it's adultery, and she can't return to that man again, and she's greatly polluted. He's showing that Israel has did the same thing with many lovers, meaning what? Many different other gods, many other different heathen ways, many followed many other different nations. But unlike a woman that commits adultery on her husband, the Lord is saying to Israel, you return to me, though. Return again to me, saith the Lord. You understand that? Verse 2, lift up thine eyes under the high places and see where thou hast been lying with. In the ways hast thou sat for them. So it's talking about Israel's committed adultery, right? In line with other nations. And it's going to name a few. As the Arabian in the wilderness, right? We follow the customs of the Arabians. We follow the religions of the Arabians. Today, that would be Islam, right? That's committing adultery against the Lord and becoming a Gentile, right? Or in this verse, a harlot. And thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain, and thou hast a whore's forehead. So the Lord called Israel a whore because Israel is supposed to be married to the Lord, but we always go off and keep the ways of the heathen, worshiping their gods. Thou refuse to be ashamed. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me, my father? Thou art the guide of my youth. Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldest. Yahweh said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there have played the harlot. So the Lord is saying that Israel is always backsliding. Even when we return to the Lord, we go back and be disobedient and return to following other gods, keeping the ways of the heathen, and wanting to be like them. We always do that. It says she's gone upon every high mountain and under every green tree. That's we followed the ways of all the heathen. We've went after all the idols of the heathen, all the false gods, all the other ways that wasn't the commandments of the Lord. We've went after all of that. It says by that played the harlot. And I said after she had done these things, turned out unto me, but she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. So at first it was Israel, the northern kingdom, but then also the southern kingdom, Judah saw it. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away. So when northern kingdom had committed adultery and went away from the Lord, he finally got fed up and he cut off northern kingdom. When we read in Ephesians, that was the middle wall partition and having to bring back. Because at first, northern kingdom got cut off. Then Judah saw it. Southern kingdom saw it. And it's going to say, let me start 8 again. So, and I saw when for the causes, all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away. So northern kingdom was cut off, made Gentiles, and had given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So northern kingdom got cut off. Then Judah, southern kingdom, copied the same things northern kingdom was doing as well. All right. And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord. And Yahweh said unto me, the backsliding Israel have justified herself more than treacherous Judah. Go and proclaim these words unto the north and say, return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord. See that? Because Judah followed the same transgressions as northern kingdom Israel, and he had cut off northern kingdom Israel. Judah following and being cut off too opened the door for the northern kingdom to be brought back into the fold when Judah is brought back into the fold. And that was the purpose of Christ coming and bringing back together in one the children of God. Remember we read that before? Y'all remember? This is what it was talking about. This is what it was talking about. I'll rewind and go back up to it. But before I rewind, because we've gone a little far from it, it said, return thou backsliding Israel, northern kingdom, who was cut off, and I will not cause my anger to fall upon you. I am merciful. Hold up, I skipped something. Oh, yeah. So it said, verse 10, and yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah, southern kingdom, have not turned unto me with her whole heart feigningly, but feigningly save the Lord. Because Judah copied northern kingdom and worshiped stones and stocks as well. And when they did return, it was feignedly, meaning it wasn't with a whole heart. It was fake. And the Lord said unto me, backsliding Israel, northern kingdom, justified herself more than Judah, southern kingdom. So now he says, go proclaim these words to the northern kingdom, and say, return, backsliding Israel. Now, northern kingdom, you return because of what southern kingdom has did. So what that's talking about, just a rewind. So now back in Ephesians, it said, but now in Christ Jesus, you sometimes were far off. That's what we've been going into. We were far off, worshiping the other ways, other gods, and keeping the other ways of the heathen. It said, you who were sometimes far off are now made nigh by the blood of Christ. We saw the prophecy of that in Micah. For he is our peace, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Who's the us? We're reading about it in Jeremiah. Israel, northern kingdom, and her sister Judah, southern kingdom. That's who's coming back in one. That's who Christ came back to break down the middle wall partition and bring back in one. Then it said down in verse 18, for through him we, speaking of Christ, we both, speaking of northern kingdom and southern kingdom, northern kingdom Israel and southern kingdom Judah. Now we both, that's who it's speaking of, have access by one spirit unto the Father. Who's he the father of? The Israelites, right? Now, therefore, ye are no longer strangers and foreigners. Why were you strangers and foreigners? You were scattered to the other nations, and you were worshiping their gods. If now you are fellow citizens with the saints and household of God, because we just read in Jeremiah, yeah, look at what Judah did. Now Israel, northern kingdom, return unto me. You return unto me. And Judah also is going to return and be in one. What Christians fail to realize is Israel's transgressions were so bad, they were cut off before southern kingdom, before Judah. And it was always the Lord's purpose to bring them back, but it was as if their punishment was as if they would never be allowed back. And a lot of the southern kingdom, that's what they thought. That northern kingdom, a lot of them thought northern kingdom was cut off for good. But the prophecies is what Christ came to fulfill. And that's what the bringing back in one is. And it said, because look, Judah did the same thing y'all did. Now y'all come back. That was the prophecy in Jeremiah. And that's what Ephesians chapter 2 is speaking about. So that's why in verse 21 it says, in whom, speaking of Christ, all the building fitly framed together. All the building is the children of Israel, north and south kingdom. Now fitly framed together, groweth into a holy temple of the Lord. That was speaking of Israel the whole time. In whom you are builded together for a habitation of God through the Spirit. See that? So this was prophesied in Jeremiah. what you read about in Ephesians. Y'all understand now? I explained that. If not, we'll go over it again. So where we was at verse 13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity that thou hast transgressed against Yahweh thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree. See, ye were strangers. This is breaking it down. You were scattered, and you scattered your ways to the strangers, meaning you kept their ways instead of keeping your ways. Hey, scoot apart from each other. Under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord. So that made you strangers by not obeying his voice. Saith the Lord. Verse 14, turn, O backsliding children. See that? Who's the children? Israel. So it says, turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass when ye be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith the Lord, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of the Lord, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore, because that was a shadow. There was the ark they kept of the covenant, but then who came and replaced that? Now you have Christ. Everything was a shadow of Christ to come. But once again, these prophecies are for Israel. Where are the other nations in all this? They're absent. They ain't there. They're there, but they're the people that Israel scattered amongst and being just like them. But it's only Israel that's saying, yeah, you're going to return from those strangers. So how could it be the strangers returning when it's Israel returning from those strangers? That would not, it doesn't make sense. Verse 17, at that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it. All the nations shall be gathered unto it. What nations?
Israel.
Exactly. This whole prophecy is going into Israel. Now it's the nations of Israel would be gathered to the throne to the Lord. All nations shall be gathered unto it to the name of Yahweh, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. See that? In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north. See, both kingdoms returning out of another land, the land of the north, which we know to be America today, right? To the land that I have given for inheritance under your fathers. But I said, how shall I put thee among the children and give thee a pleasant land, a goodly heritage of the hosts of nations? And I said, thou shalt call me my father and shalt not turn away from me. See, it's saying Israel would come back to the Father and call him my father. Y'all see that? From being a Gentile, from being of the other nations. Now you'll return and be once again the children of God. This is the prophecy. In the future time, you'll return to me and now be calling me my father again. And then, but this time it says, and shall not turn away from me. Surely as a wife treacherously departed from her husband, so have ye dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. A voice was heard upon the high places, weeping and supplications for the children of Israel, for they have perverted their way and have forgotten Yahweh their God. Return, ye backsliding children, and I will heal your backslidings. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art Yahweh our God. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in Yahweh our God is, watch this, salvation for Israel. That's what it says. All this returning and leaving off from perverting your way and being like the heathen and salvation coming is vain from the hills, but it's of Israel. See that? For shame hath devoured the labor of our fathers from our youth, their flocks and their herds, their sons and their daughters. We lie down in our shame, and our confusion covereth us. For we have sinned against Yahweh our God, we and our fathers, from our youth even unto this day, and have not obeyed the voice of Yahweh our God. And what was the punishment for that? Being cast out, right? And that's exactly what Ephesians 2:13-22 was going into. That's exactly what it was going into. Becoming a holy habitation of God again. Now we're going back into Ephesians chapter 4, verse 13-32. Ephesians 4:13-32. And it reads, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about of every wind of doctrine. You see that? This is talking about the same thing. This is talking about Israel. Ephesians is going into the being now because of Christ, being no more children tossed to and fro. Didn't we just read that Israel would be, it was wrote a different way. In Jeremiah, it said, tossed to and fro, it says, it said, looking for, tossed to and fro. And Jeremiah said, and you transgressed against the Lord thy God and scattered your ways to the strangers under every green tree and not obeyed my voice. Then down, verse 25, we lie down in our shame and our confusion covereth us. That's what we read in Jeremiah 23. Because we sinned against Yahweh our God from our youth even unto this day. That's Ephesians 4:14, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, scattering our ways upon the strangers under every green tree. That's what Ephesians is talking about, chapter 4. The children is Israel, no longer being tossed to and fro, no longer scattering our ways amongst strangers under every green tree, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. This I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk. See that? Walk not as other Gentiles walk. This isn't talking about non-Israelites. Don't walk as other Gentiles walk. It's Israelites, they're Gentiles. Don't walk as other Gentiles walk anymore in the vanity of their mind. Because that's what we were following. We were scattered amongst the Gentiles, following their ways, walking as they do. Ephesians 4 is saying not to do that anymore. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God. What was the punishment for following the other ways of the heathen? The ways of the heathen? Committing the same abominations they do. What was the punishment in the law? Y'all remember? You would be cut off from among your people. Remember? Banished. You would be banished. You would be cast off. When you're cast off, you are now a what? A Gentile, a heathen, a stranger. Yes. Alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them. So that's what Ephesians is talking about. That's what the New Testament is talking about with regards to the Messiah that was prophesied for Israel now being on the scene and dying and going back into heaven. And now Israel, the apostles going out to bring them back. It was always Israel. Or the prophecy is void, which the word of God never comes back void. Verse 19, who being past feeling, being in the past feeling, have given themselves over unto lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ. If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahushua, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. So you were supposed to put off the old man, being that old man who was what? Following the ways of the heathen, who wasn't keeping the commandments, who wasn't keeping the feast days of the Most High, who wasn't keeping his laws and his ways in our customs. Put off that old man that was like a heathen. Which is corrupt according to deceitful lust. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore put away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down on your wrath, neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. What does redemption mean?
Redemption.
Yeah.
Like a second chance.
Yeah. That means you have to have had a first chance. Definition: redemption means the act of saving, freeing, or buying back a person or thing. Buying back a person or thing. To buy something back, it has to have past belonged to you, right? But now it belongs to somebody else. Yeah. When you buy something back,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that means
Like
it
when
was
you're, like,
it was
taking it
it
back.
used to be yours. Take back, buy back. That means it used to be yours, right?
Yeah. I know.
The other nations never belonged to the Lord. He said, I chose you, Jacob, Israel. But you went off. That's what we've been reading. We've been going through the precepts. Israel went off, scattered other nations. So redemption means I'm bringing back something that once belonged to me, and now I want it to belong to me again.
Yeah. Like,
That has to be Israel. Exactly. Now you want it back.
If you cut off Israel, you want it back.
The Lord cut off Israel, and now he wants Israel back. The other nations was never the children of Yahweh. So how could they be the people who are sealed until the day of redemption? It's impossible, because they wouldn't be being bought back. They would be being bought for the first time. So this would be a bad word to use, because this means to buy back something that you already own. Verse 32, and be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. Now we're going to show, once again, Israel needed to be redeemed in the book of Hosea and being Gentiles, being cast off, needing to be bought back, needing to be redeemed in Hosea 2:11. 1 verse 2 to 11. That reads, the beginning of the word of Yahweh by Hosea. And Yahweh said to Hosea, go and take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from Yahweh. So Yahweh is telling Hosea he's going to have him do some things in this chapter that he wants him to literally do, but the purpose of him doing them is symbolic for what he's going to do with Israel. And we're going to see that as we read. So he tells him to go take a wife of whoredoms. Why would he tell Hosea to take a wife of whoredoms? Because that was we've been as a nation by going away from the Lord. You understand? It's called a metaphor, right? I think that's the right word. Verse 3, so he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And Yahweh said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. So this wife and child is going to be symbolic of the Lord causing to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. Northern kingdom is talking about. Not talking about southern kingdom, Judah. You understand? Verse 5, and it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And God said unto him, call her name Lo-Ruhamah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. See that? Utterly take them away, meaning cast them off. What do you become when you're cast off and sent away from Israel? Yup, or a Gentile, or a stranger. Exactly. He says utterly. Utterly means all the way, completely. Verse 7, but I will have mercy upon the house of Judah and will save them by Yahweh their God. That's why when you get to the New Testament, Judah is still Israel. Judah still has a kingdom. That's why the New Testament takes place in the land of Judah, in Jerusalem, because he said he's not going to have mercy on northern kingdom, but he will keep mercy with Judah. That's important to know and to understand why it would be saying this nation Christ came for, and that he would bring other nation to join this nation, because this nation is the Jews who he kept mercy with, and the nation that he would bring to join with the nation of the Jews is northern kingdom Israel. And I will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. Now, when she had weaned Lo Ruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said God, call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people. Well, now it's another son. You're going to name Lo-Ami because you're not my people. And I will not be your God. We read that prophecy also in earlier. I saw all Israel scattered upon the mountains with no shepherd and having no master. Same thing being said here. Same thing being said here. I will not be your God. Speaking to the northern kingdom. So northern kingdom was utterly cut off. When Christ came, they were still cut off. So they wasn't counted as a nation, the nation of Israel, in the New Testament. In the New Testament, they were still utterly cut off, and they were counted as strangers. They was counted as just nations, Gentiles. Yet the number of children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. This shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Then shall the children of children of Judah and children of Israel be gathered together. See that? That's what it's talking about when it says bringing together in one. It was prophesied that the children of Judah and the children of Israel would be gathered together, brought back as one, and appoint themselves one head. Who would that one head be? Yahushua Mashiach, or Jesus Christ. And they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. Now, last verse, and then we close out for this part one. Same book, Hosea, chapter 8, verse 5 to 8. Thy calf, O Samaria, have cast thee off. Mine anger is kindled against them. Against who? Samaria. Do y'all know what Samaria is? No. It's the capital of Ephraim, or the northern kingdom. Also referred to as Israel, when it's Israel, then Judah is referred to. Yeah, northern kingdom, who was utterly cut off. Their capital is Samaria. Okay. Another later in part 2 or 3 or whenever, we'll go into the Samaritan woman. The Samaritan woman was an Israelite in the New Testament. So thy calf, O Samaria, has cast thee off. My anger is kindled against them. How long will it be ere they attain to innocency? For from Israel was it also, the workman made it. Therefore it is not God, but the calf of Samaria shall be broken in pieces. Because the northern kingdom has set up a calf in Samaria, and they had set up a calf in Dan, and that's where they would go to worship instead of going to Jerusalem to worship at the feast days. They would go to these calves and worship. They didn't come to the temple no more, or the Lord put his name. Why? They were cut off utterly. Verse 7, for they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stalk. The bud shall yield no meal. If so be it yield, the stranger shall swallow it up. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles, as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. So the punishment for worshiping calves, worshiping idols, rejecting the Most High, rejecting his laws, his temple, his worship, they would be among the Gentiles. They would be cut off, swallowed up among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein there's no pleasure, and utterly cut off, and still utterly cut off when Christ is on the scene. Only Judah is considered a nation, and Israel in the Lord's eyes when Christ comes on the scene in the New Testament as prophesied. Israel will be a vessel among Gentiles, as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. They would be Gentiles. So, yeah, that's where we leave off for part 1. There'll definitely be a part 2, maybe even a 3 or 4. I hope that class was edifying. Once again, this is Hebrew Chosen Elect Wednesday night class, proving Israelites as Gentiles in the Old and New Testament. We look forward to seeing you on the Shabbat, back for class, get back into our Sabbath reading, and also hope to see you next Wednesday as well, same time. And if you'd like to come out in person, we will be having class at the Newcastle Library in Newcastle, Delaware. 2 to 4 on Shabbat, and back here 7 to 8:45 next Wednesday. So Shalom and Kwam Yashala.
Kum Shalom.